Getting the job search right is a big part of making the job search successful. Start with a good plan, and I'll help you do that right now, starting with scheduling. Scheduling is a really important thing. Let's have a look at why we should even start to prepare before we actually start job finding. Well, there are competitive advantages to starting early. Start early, you have more time. You can manage that time, and you can develop your skills along the way. You can communicate your skills and prepare a really great presentation. You can start networking, and when you actually start the job finding process, when you go through a thorough preparation process first, you will reduce your stress, for sure, and increase your opportunities, your chances for success, for sure, especially if you do it right the first time, which is a good goal to have. So let's go into the schedule itself. I'm going to tell you some things now that very few people know. I would say very, very few people would know. Let's go into the first idea of preparation. If you prepare really well, right now it's September. Let's pretend that it's already October. Well, it is almost October. And you're going to have about 4 to 6 weeks of preparation time. So if you start preparing right now, it's going to take you into about middle November if you prepare really well. About middle November. That's when if you prepare really well and you have a really great profile. 4 to 6 weeks. 6 is the upper level that you need. 4 is the minimum that you need for a really good preparation profile, according to what I consider a best-in-class presentation profile. Now, if you're going to go look for work, let's pretend that you're going to look for work right after. Let's start from December. That's really great to start right away. However, there's a different thing that's happening in December. What we have is a relaxed period of time right here. In the beginning of December, it starts to relax. The job market is relaxed. The hiring market is relaxed, especially for long-term foreign job placements, permanent roles for foreigners. It's relaxed. And then when you get into the second half of December, it's definitely sleeping. And first half of January, it is sleeping. So this is like a dead zone for many people, the entire month of December and half the month of January. Some people consider the whole month of January to be dead. I don't think it's really dead. I believe that there is a hiring boom that starts anytime from middle of January, and definitely it's full on February. It's full on. So I might make this one here. I might color that one orange, for example, and not show that it's like full on. But full on is February. So you want to be in the hiring mode in February. And actually what would help is if you would start to find work over here. Right over here. Start the process of finding work right in the... And if you look for work after 6 weeks, it will be the second half of November. That would be the uppermost time that you would need for really good preparation, best-in-class profile, multimedia presentation, tied to your core strengths with all the answers prepared for the job interview and presented on multimedia, ready for decision-making and ready for entering into the process. All that can be done in 4 to 6 weeks. Then you start looking for work in the second half of November, if you start in the beginning of October, latest. You come into December, it's relaxed, but I'll tell you something about that yellow zone of relaxed. You can actually look for work during that time as well. So what's happening during the relaxed? It's not really the time of getting hired, but it is a time where you can actually get some contacts going, and you can start to make progress in that zone where they're relaxed. So oftentimes, although the hiring managers won't be there and the decision makers won't be ready to make decisions at that stage, discussing things and getting your name out and networking will be easier in the first half of December than any other period of time in the entire calendar year. The reason for that, I've seen it many, many years. The reason for that, and I've actually seen it from inside an office as well many times. The reason for that is because people are happy, people are relaxed, people are not overworked, people have time. It's an easy shift to work this period of time. Many people are gone, so it's thin staff in that first half of December. It is a nice place to start chatting. However, what I would caution is don't just talk about nothing. Don't just call them to chat, because that's not useful content. Prepare in advance. So that part you do here in orange helps with the part that you do in green. What you're doing with preparation is helping you make the finding work process a lot easier. You have good content to talk about and good content to show and send. You can action things at that point. Even if it's not an action towards a hiring process, it's an action towards getting the attention of those people ready for hire, or even in the case sometimes where that person isn't there, you will have access to the name and maybe contact information for calling them during the second half of January. So that's another place that you can actually use for your benefit in the second half of January, is to jump into this area here. So now you've got the first half of December, second half of January, and entire month of February pumping along. The most interesting part to get hired, of course, is right here. Starting with February. That's where the hot zone is. So you want to be tied into that hiring boom, hot zone. Find work right in that zone. 4 to 6 weeks is about average of time that it takes. Some people earlier than 4. I've seen people get hired within 1 week, believe it or not, very quickly. Actually, to be fair, there's a testimonial on my website, on my Facebook and website, about a guy who got hired on the first call. It wasn't during the call, but it was the first call that resulted in a hire. And I'm sure that's happened with other people before. But the thing is, what I suggest is to target about 6 to 8 weeks for the process of actually getting hired, and just work until you actually get hired. There's stages of getting hired. So you get their attention, you get shortlisted, you get meetings, and then you get hired. There's stages to that. So you work the stages to your advantage, and each stage is a challenge to break through to the next level. And as you're breaking through all these levels, keep going until you win. Don't quit when you're halfway through the process of winning. Quit after you win. I hope this has been helpful for you. I'll unravel it going backwards once again. If you want to start looking for work, and if you want to hit the 2 best times to look for work, one of the best times is in spring, which is October still. Another of the best times is in summer, which starts with the December area. But then there's a dead zone where they're sleeping from second half of December and first half of January. But you just jump right back in again because there's a hiring boom. Now, why is that hiring boom happening? What's about this hiring boom that is making it a hiring boom? This area here, second half of January and first half of February, the reason why the hiring boom happens is because during this sleeping time, people are relaxed and they're at home and they're on vacation and they're enjoying themselves and they're networking with friends and they're talking about the future and they're planning for the next year and they're finding new opportunities, new time to think about new opportunities, and they're developing new plans for themselves, for their family, and they're networking and they're using this time to make those contacts, and when they feel inspired, they may talk about a new job. And if they find a new job, they're going to just shift in the new year and make it happen. Just like a new exercise program or a new diet, they're going to find a new job, and that's going to be really inspiring for the next year. And they'll start that new job, and the employers will find out about it in the second half of January right here, or in February right here. That's when they find out about it. That's where the 2-week notice or the 1-month notice, that's where it happens. And that's why you want to be there ready when that happens. Right there and right there. You want to be active. And the best way you could be active in this zone here is to already be active in this zone here, because it's like practice. Everything you begin, riding a bicycle, anything you learn new, anything you haven't done in a long time, when is the last time you've marketed yourself for work in New Zealand? If you've never done it before, get your practice in December, get your practice in November. You still have time. And you might get hired in that zone right there. November, December, you might get hired. There's a chance. Not a huge chance, but there's a chance. The bigger chance is in October, but we're missing that. We need to prepare now. If you haven't prepared yet, use October to prepare. And then jump into it. What you'll find is that although you may not get hired in November, or maybe not December, you definitely will have a really good chance with your practice and your momentum and your preparation to jump in the second half of January and stay in all the way through February. Really pump it hard, and you will make contacts, and you'll move your contacts with employers from the awareness state to the shortlisting state to the interview state, and you will be hired. Sooner than later, focus on constant developing yourself, your profile, your abilities, and sooner rather than later, you'll find yourself with a job offer. And if you come with me, I will help you along the way, end-to-end support. I hope this has been useful for you who may not have considered this type of strategy before. I created it after many years of knowing how things work during this period of time, how people have found success coming abroad into our beautiful country in this period of time. If you want anything, if you want a no-cost assessment of what it would be like for you specifically to jump into this job market, send me your CV to Tate at employmentforimmigration.nz. Tate at employmentforimmigration.New Zealand. Thank you.